Hello everyone and welcome to my April book haul. I did quite a bit of stress buying. We are in the process of the company that I work for transitioning from one system that they've had in place since 1984 and now we're in a completely new system. Everything we do is different, and I mean like everything. So it has been very stressful, and of course if I am overly stressed, I tend to buy. And what do I buy? In this case, books or needless stuff. Other stuff that I don't really need. But in this case, I decided to comfort myself with books. Now, not everything I bought was for something like that, but let's go ahead and get into it. Otherwise, this video will be way too long. So the last purchase that arrived for April is Night's Edge by Liz Kerin. This I got because it's a book club book. I don't remember which book club. There are a couple of them that I have decided no longer to participate in because I have not liked any of the books. And there are others that I'm not buying any further books until I read the other ones to see if I really like the other ones that they have chosen. So, but this is for one of them. Having a mom like Izzy meant Mia had to grow up fast. No extracurriculars, no inviting friends over, and definitely no dating. The most important rule, tell no one of Izzy's hunger. The one only blood can satisfy. But Mia is in her 20s now and longs for a life of her own. One where she doesn't have to worry about anyone discovering their terrible secret or breathing down her neck. When Mia meets rebellious musician Jade, she dares to hope she's found a way to leave her home and her mom behind. It just might be Mia's only chance of getting out alive. And this does have a sequel. The next book, it is shown on the back, which is called First Light. So, yeah. Okay, this next book was my mom's book. She started to read it and DNF'd the book. She just couldn't get into it. In this case, from my understanding, is the typewriter in this is one of the main characters. The typewriter is actually a character, and she just couldn't get behind that. So it's Olivetti by Allie Millington. So my mom passed this on to me because I like a much wider variety of stuff than she does. So being a typewriter is not as easy as it looks. Surrounded by books, notorious attention hogs, and recently replaced by a computer, Olivetti has been forgotten by the Brindles, the family he's lived with for years. The Brindles are busy humans, apart from 12-year-old Ernest, who would rather be left alone with his collection of Oxford English dictionaries. Once a collector of words, now Olivetti only collects dust. He gets a rare glimpse of the action from Ernest's mom, Beatrice, his used-to-be frequent visitor, only for her to drop him off at Heartland Pawn Shop and leave him behind. When Olivetti learns Beatrice has mysteriously gone missing afterward, he believes he can help find her. He breaks the only rule of the typewriterly code and types back to Ernest, divulging Beatrice's memories stored inside him. Their search takes them across San Francisco, chasing clues, dodging a dumpster diving girl, maybe committing a few misdemeanors. As Olivetti spills out the past, Ernest is forced to face what he and his family have been running from, the everything that happened. Only by working together will they find Beatrice belonging and the parts of themselves they've lost. And I believe this is a middle grade, but I'm not positive on that, but I do think it's middle grade. The next two I'm going to show you are from the same author. I got one as an ebook version, but then remembered I really liked this author's writing and want to collect this author's physical works. So I bought this, I got it on my ebook for Horror Mayhem, which is a readathon in May that I am co-hosting, but I wanted a physical copy. So I got myself The Hollow Places for T. Kingfisher. So yes, the following book will be another T. Kingfisher. This is The Hollow Places. Newly divorced and living back at home in rural North Carolina, Kara is helping out her ailing, eccentric Uncle Earl at his house, which doubles as a tourist hotspot, the Glory to God Museum of Natural Wonders, Curiosities, and Taxidermy. While Kara, did I say Kara? I don't know. While Kara is closing up one night, she discovers a mysterious hole in the drywall along one of the museum's overstuffed hallways of oddities. An opening that impossibly leads Kara and her new friend Simon to a sprawling area that simply can't be part of North Carolina's plane of existence. As they explore the apparently limitless depths of this bizarre and frightening new world, a hub containing portals to alternate realities, and bear witness to its cryptic warnings, they can hear you thinking and pray they are hungry. Kara and Simon soon realize there is far more danger here than first anticipated. For they have stumbled upon a place of unyielding madness and terror, haunted by abysmal creatures that gather strength from one's inner fear of them. So, the other Kingfisher I got is part of a series. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I did get What Moves the Dead. I love the creepiness of this. The bunny with the head backwards and all the fungi mushrooms. I really like this cover. So yeah, What Moves the Dead. Let's see. I'm a friend of the ushers, I say. The servant nodded gravely at this information. Would you like to come inside? Yes, I said, aware that I was lying. I did not want to go into that tired house dripping with fungus and architectural eyes. But Madeline had summoned me, and here I was. So, this next one was in the Twisted Desires book box. I have done an unboxing for that, and this one is The Shadows We Keep. This is a reversible dust jacket, so if you want to see some of the other features, check out the unboxing video that I did for this one. So this one we have 2 POVs on the back in red foiling. We have Kira and Harkin. Underneath Kira, it says, "It's not stalking if they put the information out there for public consumption, right? I've wanted him for as long as I can remember, but he was never mine to have, so I sat back and fantasized from behind a computer screen, resigned to never have the man my soul craved. He wasn't supposed to know about me, but one rushed morning changed everything. Now the entangled web of lies I've spun has ensnared him, but what will he do if he ever finds out the truth? I'd do anything to make sure that never happens. Too bad the universe isn't on our side." And underneath Harkin, it says, "I ran from California to New York in a moment of pure desperation to get away from her memory. I was on a path of destruction, ready to throw in the towel to quiet the berating voices in my head. But then a cab thief came crashing into my day and my world turned upside down. My mind might be playing tricks on me, but I need to know her, possess her, consume her. But secrets and lies have a way of escaping from the shadows, revealing the hidden truths of our entangled lives." And this I do know is a dark romance. On the website, you do need to confirm that you're 18 years of age or older on the website for this subscription service. And I believe this is also tagged. So it's a dark romance, and I think it's also tagged as erotic. And then I got the third book in a series, cozy mystery series I'm absolutely loving, and that is a Bookmobile Cat mystery series. This is book number 3, Borrowed Crime by Laurie Cass. When Minnie loses a grant that was supposed to keep the bookmobile running, she's worried that her pet project could come to its final page, but she's determined to keep her patrons and Eddie fans happy and well read. And Eddie is the cat, which is right here. So that's Eddie. The library director does not exactly know about the bookmobile's furry co-pilot. But when a volunteer dies on the bookmobile's route, Minnie finds her traveling library in an even more precarious position. Although the death was originally ruled a hunting accident, a growing stack of clues is pointing toward murder. It's up to Minnie and Eddie to find the killer, and fast, before the best chapter of her life comes to a messy close. And there's 12 or 13 in this series thus far. Next, for a readathon. Oh, these pages are bent in here. For a readathon that I participated in, one of the prompts in April was Old School April, was to read a book by Christopher Pike. And I read a book that I DNF'd in the 90s because it scared me to no end. Now, it was fine. It gave me similar vibes, just a little rougher language, and no paranormal hints. So it's like same kind of vibes, but just a slightly different to R.L. Stine, and that's Christopher Pike. It is a series. I do have an e-copy of the first book. There is no digital copy that I was able to find for book number 2. So this is Chain Letter 2. As you can see, this is definitely secondhand. It is definitely beat up, torn, it's taped there, came that way, but this is Chain Letter number 2. The chain letter returned like a curse. Another chain letter has arrived. The group decides that it must be a joke. After all, the perpetrator of the original chain letter is dead and buried, the victim of a horrible illness. Yet the new chain letter is similar to the old ones. It is signed Your Caretaker and insists they perform certain deeds or else they will be hurt. Fran receives the first letter. She refuses to perform her deed, and almost immediately she is killed. Then the group realizes that the letters are no joke, and that the power that originally drove their friend to start the chain letters, the same power that killed them, is still alive and hungry for more victims. In the first book, they are seniors in high school, so this one they are out of high school, so this is probably more new adult, but we'll see. But the language is definitely, if you like the R.L. Stine Fear Streets but want a little bit more, like a few more F-bombs and other words like that, Christopher Pike would be up your alley for that. Next, I have not read this author, but I really want to try this series, and I know it's going to be very spicy, but Neon Gods by Katee Robert. Society darling Persephone Demetrio plans to escape the ultra-modern city of Olympus and start over far from the backstabbing politics of the 13 houses. But all that's ripped away when her mother ambushes her with an engagement to Zeus, the dangerous power behind their glittering city's dark facade. With no options left, Persephone flees to the forbidden Undercity and makes a devil's bargain with a man she once believed a myth, a man who awakens her to a world she never knew existed. Hades has spent his life in the shadows, and he has no intention of stepping into the light. But when he finds that Persephone can offer a little slice of the revenge he spent years craving, it's all the excuse he needs to help her, for a price. Yet every breathless night spent tangled together has given Hades a taste for Persephone, and he'll go to war with Olympus itself to keep her close. And this is a type of cover that's like velvety, creamy, buttery, whatever you want to say. It just has a really nice feeling to it. I love covers like this. So next is the 4th book in a series I'm working through, and I got the 4th book of Children of the Whales. They're on a floating island surrounded by a sea of sand, and the island is made of sand. And now there's other groups of people that have come and are trying to kill the people that are on this island, and some of the people have magical abilities. So if you want books with desert settings, this is definitely a desert setting. So yeah, and this is book number 4. Not sure how many are in this, but I'm working my way through this. This next one I found when I was just one of those days, stress purchase. I was just randomly scrolling. This caught my eye because it has a gorgeous cover, and I will show you this cover. But I got Gild, and this is it's book number 1 in the Plated Prisoner series. The other books in the series have similar covers, but I will not buy the other. I want to, but I need to hold off and not buy the other books until I read this first one. So, I am the gold-plated prisoner, but what a pretty prison it is. So there's the back, gold sprayed edges. They're not gilded or anything. It's literally like gold spray paint. And this is a King Midas, you know, the king with the gold touch, retelling. So let me show you what the book actually looks like. So there's the back without the dust jacket. There's the spine. And there's the front. Absolutely gorgeous. And then the end pages, you can't really see because it's very light yellow on white, but it's a bird. It's supposed to be gold. Everything's gold on it, you know, gold bird in a gold cage. And the back end pages are the same, except for this one's just a bunch of keys hanging from the ceiling. So this is by Raven Kennedy. Okay. Gold. Gold floors, gold walls, gold furniture, gold clothes. In High Bell, in King Midas's castle built into the frozen mountains, everything is made of gold, even me. This compelling story is inspired by the myth of King Midas. The gilded world of Aurea will grip you from the very first page and show the dark side of greed through the eyes of the woman he gold touched. With romance, intrigue, and danger, this immersive adult fantasy series is as addictive as it is unexpected. Here's a note. To read at your own discretion, it says, please be advised there are dark elements in the story that may be triggering, including violence, adult language, explicit romance, and non-consensual sex. So, do be aware of that. Okay. I brought these books up to my room so that I could put them away, and so I thought I gotta do this haul. So I have a bag here full of books, so we're just gonna take them out. This next one is the sequel to a book that I just read in April. Crap, what's the name of the first one? The Night Swim. So this one's book number 2 in that series. This one is called Dark Corners by Megan Goldin. I got this one from Thrift Books. So it does have a Thrift Books sticker. And this was also a Book of the Month edition. This one, it says July 2023. So that's when that one was there. Terrence Bailey is about to release from prison for breaking and entering, though investigators have long suspected him in the murders of 6 women. As his release date approaches, Bailey gets a surprise visit from Madison Logan, a hot young influencer with a huge social media following. Hours later, Madison disappears, and police suspect she's been kidnapped, or worse. Is Madison's disappearance connected to her visit to Bailey, and why was she visiting him in the first place? When it hits a wall in the investigation, the FBI reluctantly asks for Rachel Kral's help in finding the missing influencer. Madison seems to exist only on social media. She has no family or friends, and, other than her posts, most people have never seen her. Who is she really? Using a fake Instagram account, Rachel goes undercover to BuzzCon, a popular influencer conference, where she discovers a world of fierce rivalry that may have turned lethal. When police find the body of a woman with a tattoo of a snake eating its tail identical to a tattoo Rachel had seen on Bailey's hand, the FBI must consider a chilling possibility. Bailey has an accomplice on the outside and a dangerous obsession with influencers, including Rachel Kral herself. Suddenly, the target of a monster hiding in plain sight, Rachel is forced to confront the very real dangers that lurk in the dark corners of the internet. And I really enjoyed, I forgot the name of the title, The Night Swim. I was going to say These Dark Waters, and I'm like, that's not right. So The Night Swim. And so I look forward to getting to this one too. So this next one is another book that my mom started to read and DNF'd. She just wasn't able to get into it. So she passed this on to me, and that is The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict, Victoria Christopher Murphy. So I think 2 authors. Let's see. In her 20s, Bella de Costa Green is hired by J.P. Morgan to create a collection of rare manuscripts, books, and artwork for his newly built Pierpoint Morgan Library. Belle becomes a fixture in New York City society and one of the most powerful people in the art and book world, known for her impeccable taste and shrewd negotiating for critical works as she helps create a world-class collection. But Belle has a secret, one she must protect at all costs. She was not born Belle de Costa Green, but Belle Marion Greener. She is the daughter of Richard Greener, the first black graduate of Harvard and a well-known advocate for equality. Belle's complexion isn't dark because of her alleged Portuguese heritage that lets her pass as white. Her complexion is dark because she is black. So, sounds like there's going to be quite a bit of racial inequality talked about in this, and it does sound good. So, this next one I got, and I'm going to, as I said earlier, I'm going to stop buying books unless there's one that really, really grabs my interest for book clubs. I just can't justify buying them all. And this is one of them, and I did, and that's before I made the decision. But Travelers by Helon Habila. Again, I got this one from Thrift Books. This one was a St. Louis County library book. I've never been to St. Louis. let's see. A Nigerian graduate student who has made his home in America knows what it means to strike out for new shores. When his wife proposes that he accompany her to Berlin, where she has been awarded a prestigious arts fellowship, he has his reservations. I knew every departure is death, every return a rebirth. Most changes happen unplanned, and they always leave a scar. In Berlin, Habila's central character finds himself thrown into contact with a community of African immigrants and refugees whose lives previously seemed distant from his own, but to which he is increasingly drawn. The walls between his privileged, secure existence and the stories of these other Africans on the move soon crumble, and his sense of identity begins to dissolve as he finds that he can no longer separate himself from others' horrors or from Africa. So, and then there was a book club that I wanted to participate in, and this is part of a series and it's book 2, but I didn't want to read that one until I read this one, and I've actually been wanting to get my hands on this one. Got this one from Thrift Books as well, and that is the Guncle. I think this sounds like this is going to be funny. Patrick, or Gay Uncle Patrick, Gup for short, has always loved his niece Macy and nephew Grant. That is, he loves spending time with them when they come out to Palm Springs for week-long visits, or when he heads home to Connecticut for the holidays. So when tragedy strikes and Patrick finds himself suddenly taking on the role of primary guardian, he is honestly overwhelmed. Patrick has no idea what to expect, having spent years barely holding on after the loss of his great love, a somewhat stalled acting career, and a lifestyle not so suited to a 6- and 9-year-old. But when his waggish set of Guncle rules no longer appease Maisie and Grant's parental void, Patrick's eyes are open to a new sense of responsibility, and the realization that sometimes even being larger than life means you're unfailingly human. I think this sounds funny, tender, and just a good read. I think it sounds like that. So, but I didn't want to get the second one until I read this one. This next book was a pre-order, and it's a Leigh Bardugo. I will get most. There was a graphic novel that I read. I got an ebook version. I'm glad I got the ebook version and not the physical. The graphic novel was just not for me. But Leigh Bardugo's novels I do enjoy, and I love the pomegranates in here. And I think, was there, no, there was nothing on this one, I don't think. Yeah, no. Okay. I mean, there's something embossed on the cover. Oh, it's a pomegranate. Anyway, but it's hard to see. Anyway, I pre-ordered The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. And I like the black sprayed edges on this. In a shabby house on a shabby street in the new capital of Madrid, Lucia Cotado uses scraps of magic to get through her days of endless toil as a scullion. But when her scheming mistress discovers that the lump of a servant cowering in the kitchen is actually hiding a talent for little miracles, she demands Lucia use those gifts to better the family's social position. What begins as simple amusement for the nobility takes a perilous turn when Lucia garners the notice of Antonio Perez, the disgraced secretary to Spain's king. Still reeling from the defeat of his armada, the king is desperate for any advantage in the war against England's heretic queen, and Perez will stop at nothing to regain the king's favor. Determined to seize this one chance to better her fortunes, Lucia plunges into a world of seers and alchemists, holy men and hucksters, where the lines between magic, science, and fraud are never certain. But as her notoriety grows, so does the danger that her Jewish blood will doom her to the Inquisition's wrath. She will have to use every bit of her wit and will to survive, even if that means enlisting the help of Guillén Santiago, an embittered immortal familiar whose own secrets could prove deadly for them both. So, next from Thrift Books. So I got another Thrift Book stickers. This one's a memoir, and this is A Living Remedy by Nicole Chung. This one was part of the Seattle Public Library. Nicole Chung couldn't hightail it out of her overwhelmingly white Oregon hometown fast enough. As a scholarship student at a private university on the East Coast, no longer the only Korean she knew, she found community and a path to life she'd long wanted. But the middle-class world she begins to raise a family in, where there are big homes, college funds, nice vacations, looks very different from the middle-class world she thought she grew up in, where paychecks have to stretch to the end of the week, health insurance is often lacking, and there are no safety nets. When her father dies at only 67, killed by diabetes and kidney disease, Nicole feels deep grief as well as rage, knowing that years of precarity and lack of access to health care contributed to his early death. And then the unthinkable happens. Less than a year later, her beloved mother is diagnosed with cancer, and the physical distance between them becomes insurmountable as COVID-19 descends upon the world. So, yep. Okay, next I have, I love this author's. My mom and I went to Barnes & Noble at one point, and I wanted another nonfiction book by this author. That's Erik Larson. So I got this one, and this is In the Garden of the Beasts, Love, Terror, and an American Family in Hitler's Berlin. The time is 1933, the place Berlin, when William E. Dodd becomes America's first ambassador to Hitler's Germany in a year that proved to be a turning point in history. A mild-mannered professor from Chicago, Dodd brings along his wife, son, and flamboyant daughter, Martha. At first, Martha is entranced by the parties and pomp and the handsome young men of the Third Reich, with their infectious enthusiasm for restoring Germany to a position of world prominence. But as evidence of Jewish persecution mounts, confirmed by chilling first-person testimony, her father telegraphs his concerns to a largely indifferent State Department back home. Dodd watches with alarm as Jews are attacked, the press is censored, and drafts of frightening new laws begin to circulate. As that first year unfolds and the shadows deepen, the Dodds experience days of full excitement, intrigue, romance, and, ultimately, horror, when a climatic spasm of violence and murder reveals Hitler's true character and ruthless ambition. I love the writing by Erik Larson. Next, I have another book that I got from Barnes & Noble, The Society for Soulless Girls, and I believe this one was on the buy one, get one half off table. I've taken the stickers off on that one, by Laura Stephen. I think this one's a YA. I could be wrong on that. 10 years ago, 4 students lost their lives in the infamous unsolved North Tower murders at the elite Carvel Academy of Arts, forcing the school to close its doors. Now, Carvel is reopening, and freshman Lottie Fitzwilliam is determined to find out what really happened when her beautiful but standoffish roommate, Alice Wolfe, stumbles upon a sinister, soul-splitting ritual in a book hidden in Carvel's library. The North Tower claims another victim. Is there a killer among them, or worse, within them? And this, okay, this is another one that was by, that I did get for a book club. I have yet to get to this book, and this one was supposed to be for April. I'm not going to get to it right now, but I'm kind of on the fence. I'm intimidated by this one. I still want to read it, but I have not heard good things about it. A lot of people that have been participating in this book club did not like this book. And that's 14 Days. This is edited by Margaret Atwood and Douglas Preston. As the pandemic sweeps the globe and New York locks down in March of 2020, the rich quickly flee the city for the relative safety of their country homes. For the left behinds, a group of residents in a rundown Lower Manhattan apartment building, the only fresh air to be found is on the rooftop, where the tenants begin gathering every night. At first, they cheer at 7 p.m. for the essential workers, then immediately retreat to their phones and books, private and prickly as any self-respecting New Yorkers. But little by little, they start to open up and to tell their stories. Narrated by the outspoken, hard-nosed female superintendent of the building, this extraordinary and surprising story unfolds across the 14 days of a COVID-19 quarantine as neighbors come together to make sense of their circumstances and of themselves. Who is the man who died in 4C? Is the lady with the rings really who she says she is? And where on earth could Morty Gund have gone? With each unfolding story written anonymously by a different major literary figure, from Celeste Ng and Tommy Orange to Diana Gabaldon and John Grisham. Ooh, I like John Grisham's writing. 14 Days is a dazzling, heartwarming, and page-turning delight, a celebration of diversity in all its forms, and a collaborative literary experiment like no other. Does this list the authors? Oh, there's a lot of stories in here, so no, I'm not going to read them all because there's a lot of authors listed. Okay, this next one is one that I actually won from a Goodreads giveaway, and that's IRL by E.A. Field. Game over. Something is wrong in Bunker, Illinois. Nora Grace Moon thought her toughest challenge this semester would be managing her OCD. But when her deceased roommate turns up as a reanimated corpse, her world starts to collapse. When her uncle sends her a cryptic message, Nora realizes it must be a call for help. She reaches out to fellow gamer Wesley for advice, a U.S. Marshal with real-life skills for tactical survival, not just in-game. They venture out into a world that is growing more and more deadly by the moment. Not only are the undead spreading, but other humans are taking advantage of the societal breakdown. And unknown to Nora and Wesley, they have been targeted by an ancient archaeological society who will stop at nothing until they have what Nora has, an artifact that will unleash a new world order of the undead. So, a zombie book. This next one, I have been reading a series by, but this one, A.K. Landau is this author, and I'm trying to remember the name of the series. City of Sisterly Love, I believe is what it was. But this one is Conflicting Ventures. This is book number 1 in the Bells of Broad Street by A.K. Landau. This came in my monthly subscription of Romance Reveal book box. Skylar Lawrence is the quiet sister. Skylar Lawrence, okay, she's the quiet sister. It says it twice. The one that doesn't need to be the center of attention. The one who wants happiness above all else. She's been content to stay in the background and support her sisters as their stars shine bright. She internalizes her struggles, the lingering pain of losing her father, followed by the ending of her relationship with the man she thought was her forever. For the first time in a year, she meets a man that intrigues her, a sexy stranger that seems as affected by her as she is by him. She gives in to her desires, only to find out moments later that he's about to become her professional enemy. They battle for the most coveted project in the industry. Their passion on the battlefield threatens to bleed from the boardroom to the bedroom. Okay. Constantly teetering on that fine edge until it becomes too much for both of them. Has she finally met the perfect man? The man who both showers her with adoration and supports her eccentric fantasies. Perhaps she'll get her HEA, just like her sisters. Happily ever after is what that is. That's until the past comes back to threaten their future. So I do like the writing of this author, and so I'm excited to have book 1 of another series by this author. Next is the Billionaire Boys Club book, Dr. Weston by L.M. Fox. This is from my Romance Reveal book club subscription. And there are 6 books. The one that I get is the biggest box that they have, and there are 6 books. And that's because it's only $10 more for that a month, where I get 6 books, compared to like Owl Crate or other ones like that, where it's just about like, it works out to be just about $10 cheaper for something like that, but you only get 1 book and a bunch of stuff. So I'm going with this one. Okay, so underneath we have Poppy and Brody. So underneath Poppy it says, I was that girl. I had it all. Confident and happy. I graduated college and began working my dream job. I married my devoted, handsome boyfriend. We bought a house and traveled the world, focused on our careers. We'd think about kids later, till the unthinkable happened. Now I'm alone and slowly discovering my fairy tale life was a nightmare, shrouded in secrecy and lies. How do you move on after such betrayal? Can I trust a second chance at a real happily ever after? And then underneath Brody it says, I was that guy. I had it all and threw it all away. A renowned surgeon, my career was my sole focus. Yet I had a wife and beautiful children and let them slip away. I've learned the hard way. I'm more devoted to my family than ever. If only they didn't live with the new man now. My ex-wife and I are better as friends, and my kids are old enough to forgive me. If I could only forgive myself. I'm just hoping I can prove to Poppy that despite my past, I'm worth taking a chance. So, this next one is Love in Montana series, Fearless Enough by Kelly Elliott, and also from my Romance Reveal book box. It does say this is a spin-off novel from Meet Me in Montana. Oh, from the Meet Me in Montana series. Okay, so Blaise Shaw could sum up his life in one word: fulfilling. He grew up in the shadow of his famous father, Brock Shaw, a multi-year PBR champion, professional bull rider, but chose not to follow in his dad's footsteps. Instead, choosing to work on the family's cattle ranch in Hamilton, Montana, everything in his life was exactly how he wanted it, and he was the happiest he'd ever been. When a woman from his past resurfaces and is given the task of diving deep into his world for the answers he isn't willing to share, Blaise's perfect world is thrown into a tailspin. He wants to dislike her, but the more time they spend together bickering back and forth, the harder it is to fight his feelings. Georgiana Crenshaw is chasing a career as a sports reporter and has something to prove to the top dogs at the network where she works. She hasn't made it this far simply because of who her father is. Georgiana has succeeded solely due to hard work and determination. She dives in when given a chance to show she has what it takes to get the promotion she desperately wants. Told it will be the interview of a lifetime, Georgiana shows up at the airport with a go-get-'em attitude. Only when her father tells her who she'll be interviewing does she have a moment of doubt. But honestly, how hard could it be to interview an arrogant, self-centered, obnoxious, too handsome for his own good flirt who gave Georgiana her first kiss behind the barn on his father's ranch? So, and since this is a spin-off series, I did order the first book in the series that this one spins off from. So, also by Kelly Elliott is Never Enough. He's her missing piece. She's his second chance. Longing to forget the pain of his wife's death, Brock Shaw has immersed himself in the one thing that lets him escape the guilt: bull riding. But life on the road means leaving his young son at home with his parents. They want him to give up his career and be a father to his child, but Brock needs the adrenaline to get through each day, or so he thinks. Lincoln Pratt needs a fresh start. As a top interior designer to Atlanta, she has everything she could ever want, but she's always at her father's mercy. Something's missing, and Lincoln knows she'll only find it somewhere far away, like the rolling pastures of Hamilton, Montana, where she meets the irresistible, mysterious Brock. In Brock Shaw, Lincoln sees the part of her that's missing. In Lincoln Pratt, Brock sees the part of himself he thought he'd lost. But the pain of his past binds him. Can he let himself love again? So. And then this next one, this is also from my Romance Reveal. And this one is Best I Never Had by Jeannie Cho. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the name. It's a sky blue with white lettering, and so it's a little bit headache-inducing to read that combination for me. Senior year of high school seems like an entire lifetime ago when you're an adult adjusting to real life, responsibilities, and real-life heartbreak. When Hayden Marshall and Natalia Marquez run into each other on the busy streets of New York City, hundreds of miles away from their hometown and years after their high school graduation, it seems kismet is more common than either of them thought. While Natalia is going through the ups and downs of a post-breakup slump, Hayden has his own set of personal woes that bring the two to one single-minded conclusion. They are lonely, but when they strike up a deal to ease those bouts of loneliness, old feelings start to resurface. Feelings that were kept hidden during the small moments in a crowded classroom and glimpses in school hallways. Feelings that start to burst at the seams when all of the tricky emotions begin to intertwine within their complicated lives and rekindled friendship. But when they slowly learn what's at stake, neither Natalia or Hayden knows if it's worth the risk. To lose a friendship they didn't realize they could live without, or to take a chance on something great. So, best I never had. Okay, this next one is part of a duet. And this is the discreet version of Magnolia. Nope, this one. You can't tell the difference, but as you can see, it's got some silver foiling, pink sprayed edges. I signed up to be a part of Willow Winter's Patreon, so they're getting caught up on shipping. She's hired someone that's helping with the shipping, so this was supposed to be, I think this one is April, and then this one was for March. Anyway, so I finally got these books. So these are the discreet versions. The title is on the inside as well as the synopsis. So I am going to read that, and I will insert an image of the actual, one of the actual covers. She has artist renditions and other types of covers as well. So book number 1 in the series, the duet, it's called, this one is called Tequila Rose. And it says, he tasted like tequila and the fake name I gave him was Rose. 4 years ago, I decided to get over one man by getting under another. It was supposed to be a single night and nothing more. I found my handsome stranger with a shot glass at the end of the bar, along with a charming but devilish smile. The desire that filled his eyes the second they landed on me ignited a spark inside me, instant and hot. He was perfect and everything I didn't know I needed. That one night may have ended too soon, but I left with much more than a memory. 4 years later, and with a 3-year-old in tow, I'm back home in the quiet little town I grew up in, as the man I still dream about stares at me from across the street. The flash of recognition and the heat in his gaze are unmistakable. The chemistry between us is still there, even after all these years. I just hope the secrets and regrets don't destroy our second chance before it's even begun. And this is in the discreet series. It's number 20. You can read these usually within any order. Obviously, with this one being a duet, I would read book 2 after book 1. So this is books number 20 and 21. And I do want to collect all of her discreet books, and they are spicy. So book number 2 in the Magnolia duet is Autumn Night Whiskey. It says, one man loved me when I didn't even like myself. The town whispered that we were star-crossed lovers, among other things. He was my first love, but so out of reach with where fate had taken me. With a little girl to look after and a past I wish I didn't have, things were never going to be easy when it came to my life in this small town, let alone my love life. At least that's At least that's what I thought until he showed up. A former flame who still ignited a part of me I thought had long gone. As if life wasn't complicated enough. 2 men want me, 2 men kissed me, and my heart is split between them both. And it does say Tequila Rose, which is the first one that I read, must be read first. So it does say that in book number 2. So the discreet series, love that, and I really enjoy the author's writing. Next I have See Her. This is a 2nd edition paperback by Natalie Parker, and this was from my Romance Reveal book box. A music label wants my band. I just want her. I never knew a smile had the power to change the course of a life until she smiled at me and shifted my world off its axis. My band revitalized. My writer's block gone. My heart hers. There's no way I could marry her the first chance I got. There's no way I couldn't marry her the first chance I got. They said we were crazy, that getting married so soon was insane. I don't care. I love her more than anything. And then my band gets the call that changes everything. My dreams are all coming true. But what will the sudden rush of rock and roll success do to our new marriage? It's going to take everything to manage this new rise to fame. and life on the road while hanging on to the love of my life, but there's no question I'm not doing this without her. Next is from my Probably Smut book club. There has been a waiting list. I'm sure there is still a waiting list. And then it goes, spots open up, and then it fills up quickly. Thankfully I got on. This is the 3rd month's box I was able to get, and they are special edition covers for the Probably Smut. And this one is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. And this is book 1 of the Saga of the Unfated. I will insert the original cover here so that you can see it. There is no synopsis on this. It does come with a letter to the reader on the inside. I don't think there's a synopsis. No, there's no synopsis on the inside. The back does say, it has a little quote. It says, "Her fate is inked in her blood. It's carved in her bones. This power is Freya's destiny." So I think this is a fantasy romance, and obviously where it comes from, Probably Smut, there's going to be smut. Next, I have a book titled Sinister Legacy. This is from the Read in Peace book subscription service, and this one is by Harley Beck. So, it says, "I won't let you fall to the darkness. I'll never let you get lost." And these are dark romances. Red gilded edges. And this is also a special edition cover. And papers. And this one I think does have a synopsis on the inside, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Yes. So we have this, and it does have an author's note in there, so if you do pick this up, check into that. So underneath Kira, it says, "I was born with darkness in my veins. My name is Kira Hill. I'm the daughter of one of the country's most notorious serial killers. I hide in plain sight, pretending to fit in, pretending I'm not haunted by my father's skeletons. In 2 months' time, he's scheduled to be executed. With a copycat killer on the loose, my world is turned upside down when I find myself at the center of the killer's twisted mind games, the queen on the chessboard. If I want to win, I must embrace my own darkness, the legacy I have spent my life running from. I must play the game." And then underneath King, it says, "It started out as a silly dare. Fuck Jimmy Hill's daughter. But it quickly morphed into something far more, especially now that Blackwoods is terrorized by a vicious serial killer who has his eyes on Kira, the girl who's quickly slithering inside my veins. I'm the only one who sees her, the only one who knows how to purge her darkness, the only one twisted enough to match it with my own and offer it back in spades. The only problem, Kira belongs to someone else, as if that will ever stop me." And this is also a dark romance. I think it's also tagged as erotic as well. So, with obviously, as you can tell from the cover, where she's got the blood, there's going to be, I think, blood play in that. I haven't read a book with, have I? Anyway, this next one, I believe, was on the buy one, get one half off of Barnes & Noble. And this is 10 Hours to Go by Keely Patrick. "Some friends are like wildfires. They can turn against you in an instant. Lily needs a ride. A fire warning in Oregon has canceled her train home to California. Her ex-best friend Natasha has offered to pick Lily up on her way back from Portland, though they're barely on speaking terms. As it turns out, Natasha's also giving a ride to Elkie, the girl Lily got expelled from their school 4 years ago. Elkie hasn't forgotten, and neither has Natasha. It's getting tense in the car, and not just about the past. There's smoke in the air, and with the wildfires nearby, staying on the road is becoming riskier by the hour. When Natasha and Elkie decide to take a detour, Lily hopes it will get them out of danger. She has no idea, though, what her former friends have planned for her. But as night comes, the plans change again when it becomes all too clear that leaving the main road was a mistake. Now the three of them are trapped in the woods under a burning sky, with no easy way out. To survive, Lily must depend on Elkie and Natasha, but after all that's happened, can she trust them with her life? Next is an ARC that I won from Goodreads, and it says this is supposed to be publication date May 21st of 2024, and this is Perfume and Pain by Anna Dorn. Freshly cancelled, Astrid finds herself unable to write another novel. To make matters worse, she is back in the Sapphic Scribes, the Zoom writers group she co-founded before she was published. It almost feels like nothing will get her writing again, not even her love of perfume. The mounting pressure causes Astrid's worst vice to rear its head. The Patricia Highsmith, a blend of amphetamines, alcohol, and cigarettes that leads to blackouts and a disturbing series of events. With all of these women orbiting around her, her bad behavior is about to get worse. Next. This was for a book club, and this I think is the prequel to the first one, but I have yet to read the first book in the series. This one is Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. So, Legends and Lattes is the first one. I don't even know if I like this writing, so I should have waited, but I didn't. So that's what stress will do to me. Viv is a young, battle-hungry orc, but her career with the notorious mercenary company Rockman's Ravens isn't going as planned. Wounded during the hunt for a powerful necromancer, she's packed off against her will to recuperate in the sleepy beach of town of Merk, so far from the action that she worries she'll never be able to return to it. What's a thwarted soldier of fortune to do? Spending her hours as a beleaguered bookshop in the company of its foul-mouthed proprietor is the last thing Viv would have predicted, but it may be both exactly what she needs and the seed of changes she couldn't possibly imagine. Still, adventure isn't all that far away. A suspicious traveler in a gray gnome, a gnome with a chip on her shoulder, a summer fling, and an improbable member of skeletons prove Merk to be more eventful than Viv could have expected. And a lot of people say these are like cozy fantasies, so yeah. Next, again, this was for a book club, but Witch King by Martha Wells. And again, this is why I'm going to hold off on buying them unless it sounds very, very, very good. I'm just going to hold off until I get a feel for the types of books that get selected from the book club. After being murdered, his consciousness dormant and unaware of the passing of time, while confined in an elaborate water trap, Kai wakes to find a lesser mage attempting to harness Kai's magic to his own advantage. That was never going to go well. But why was Kai imprisoned in the first place? What has changed in the world since his assassination? And why does the Rising World Coalition appear to be growing in influence? Kai will need to pull his allies close and draw on all his pain magic if he is to answer even the least of these questions. He's not going to like the answers. So, is there anything on the... Anyway, so, yeah. Okay. This one was, probably Smut did a special edition, like, blind date with a book, and this was one of the books. And this is a baseball romance, and this is the Grand Slam Love Series Finally Home by Holly Crawford. There is no synopsis on the back. This does have the author's initials there. And then it has content warnings, a playlist, and a dedication, but no synopsis. So, but I will list all of these titles in the description box. There is a quote on the back, and it says, "That's the truth of it, Starling. You never belonged with him. You were always meant to be mine." And the other one from that same blind date with the book, they had 3 of them. That one was a sports romance, one was a Western romance, and I don't remember what the third one was, but the third one sold out. So I just got these 2. And so again, there's no synopsis on the back. This one just has a text exchange. It says, "Let's talk, just for tonight." Just for tonight is the response. Will you give me your name just so I can change your contact? What about a nickname instead? Sure. What about Banana? All right, you can call me Bo. And this one is called Strung Along by Hannah Cohen. And again, special edition cover. We've got the signature, the playlist, author's note, dedication page, and then right into the story. So there is no synopsis page. That's one thing with these covers. I wish there was, like with Willow Winters. Let me grab her book, one of her books. The synopsis page is always on the inside of the book in the discrete versions. And so I wish on books like this, they also did that. So, but it is what it is. Okay, this next book, I saw a reel on Instagram of someone talking about a book in this series later on and how wild it was. And so I had to get the first book because it intrigued me just by them gushing about a book later on. And this one, book one in this series, it's a love story and it's called Money, Power, and Sex. And those are some chiseled abs. I could grate some cheese on those abs. Norrin Love presents a sizzling novel that explores the thin lines between love, lust, and betrayal, and italicized. Norrin Love, that's the author. Norrin or Norian? I'm not sure. Nichelle was everything she's ever wanted. Has everything she's ever wanted. A successful, loving boyfriend in Lucas, and a growing career as a marketing executive. Lucas has all he's ever wanted in Nichelle, true love. Donovan has lost everything and is trying to regain a foothold in the world. Ronnie has more than anyone could desire, beauty, brains, and success. But even on top of the world, there is always a need for more. What happens when the desire for everything and the hunger of having nothing collide? 4 lives, 4 separate motives, one unbelievable outcome. Next, I think this one was also on the buy one get one half off from Barnes & Noble, and this one is The Senator's Wife by Liv Constantine. After a tragic chain of events led to the deaths of their spouses 2 years ago, D.C. philanthropist Sloan Chase and Senator Whit Montgomery are finally starting to move on. The horrifying ordeal drew them together, and now they're ready to settle down again with each other. As Sloan returns to the world of White House dinners and political small talk, this time with her new husband, she's also preparing for an upcoming hip replacement. The latest reminder of the lupus she's managed since her 20s. With her hectic schedules, they decided that hiring a home health aide will give Sloan the support and independence she needs post-surgery. And they find the perfect fit in Athena Carras. Seemingly a godsend, Athena tends to Sloan and even helps her run her charitable foundation. But Sloan begins to deteriorate, a complication, Athena explains, of Sloan's lupus. As weeks go by, Sloan becomes sicker, and her uncertainty quickly turns to paranoia as she begins to suspect the worst. Why is Athena asking her so many probing questions about her foundation, as well as about her past? And could Sloan be imagining the sultry looks between Athena and her new husband? So, and same thing, buy one get one half off table, I believe. And this one is Everyone is Watching by Heather Gunkoff. I'm guessing is how that is said. The best friend, the confidant, the senator, the boyfriend, the executive. 5 contestants have been chosen to compete for $10 million on the game show One Lucky Winner. The catch? None of them knows what or who to expect, and it will be live streamed all over the world. Completely secluded in an estate in Northern California, with strict instructions not to leave the property and 0 contact with the outside world. The competitors start to feel a little too isolated. When long-kept secrets begin to rise to the surface, the contestants realize this is no longer just a reality show. Someone is out for blood, and the game can't end until the world knows who the contestants really are. This might be the same case, but can't say for sure for the buy one get one half off table. And this one is, unless this is, no, not an ARC. Okay. Everybody Knows by Jordan Harper. Welcome to May Pruitt's Los Angeles, where nobody talks but everybody whispers. As a black bag publicist tasked not with letting the good news out, but keeping the bad news in, May works for one of LA's most powerful and sought-after crisis PR firms. At the center of a sprawling web of lawyers, flakes, and private security firms she calls the Beast. They protect the rich and powerful and depraved by any means necessary. After her boss is gunned down in front of the Beverly Hills Hotel in a random attack, May takes it upon herself to investigate and runs headfirst into the Beast's lawless machinations and the twisted systems it exists to perpetuate. What follows is a roving neon joyride through a Los Angeles full of influencers pumped with pills and fillers, vast mansions, footsteps away from vast homeless encampments, crooked cops, and mysterious wrecking crews in the middle of the night. And then I have Love Ad Lib by Evie Alexander. This one, I think, is the last one from, this one was from my Romance Reveal book box. Fake it till you fall in love. Shy and reserved, Lord Henry Foxbrook is the reluctant heir to his eccentric father's estate. His outrageous family want him back in Somerset and settling down. But he wants a stress-free life in London. Facing a weekend of celebrations for his 30th birthday, he needs a fake girlfriend to get them all off his back. Free-spirited ray of sunshine, Libby Fletcher is down on her luck. Teaching improv workshops isn't cutting it when she loses her home and savings, and her pregnant business partner's about to pop. When Henry offers her the acting gig of a lifetime, she leaps. But when they arrive in Somerset, neither is prepared for what his family have planned. As their worlds collide, friendship blurs, and faking it starts to feel real. When disaster sends their house of cards tumbling down, Henry and Libby are forced to face some home truths. They may be lying to the Foxbrooks, but are they also lying to themselves? This one, I do remember getting this one at Barnes & Noble, and this was regular full price. It was not on that buy one half off table. The cover drew me in, as well as the title. This is part of the Enchanted Fates series by Sabrina Blackberry, and it's Dirty Lying Fairies. I love that title. When Thea is dragged to a black tie gala at an art gallery, she doesn't expect to meet the handsome, enigmatic, otherworldly owner Devon. With a personal tour of the work and a kiss to her hand, Thea is unknowingly pulled into the world of the Fae. She never believed in fairies until she started seeing them for herself. With strange creatures visible on the street and amazing colors flashing in the shadows, Thea has to accept the truth. Fairies are real, and she is a changeling. As Thea copes with the new reality, she lives her last few days as a human before the big winter solstice ball, where she will complete her transformation. Thea learns she is far more powerful and necessary to the Fae world than she ever imagined. She's plunged into their warring world and must reckon with her newly awakened powers. The only bright spot? Her begrudging courtship with Devon, the king of the Winter Court. Cracks in the Fae world begin to surface, and Thea makes it her mission to figure out who is behind the disturbing acts that plague both the Fae and human world to save both herself and her newfound love. Next, I think this was from Barnes & Noble as well. This is The House in the Pines by Anna Reyes. And this one's a Reese's Book Club pick. Maya was a high school senior when her best friend Aubrey dropped dead in front of the enigmatic man named Frank, whom they'd been spending time with all summer. 7 years later, Myra lives in Boston with a loving boyfriend and is kicking the secret addiction that has allowed her to cope with what happened years ago. The gaps in her memories and the lost time that she can't account for. But her past comes rushing back when she comes across a recent YouTube video in which a young woman suddenly keels over and dies in a diner while sitting across from none other than Frank. Plunged into the trauma that has defined her life, Maya heads to her Berkshire's hometown to relive that fateful summer, the influence Frank once had on her, and the obsessive jealousy that nearly destroyed her friendship with Aubrey. At her mother's house, she excavates fragments of her past and notices hidden messages in her deceased Guatemalan father's book that didn't stand out to her earlier. To save herself, she must understand a story written before she was born, but time keeps running out, and soon all roads are leading back to Frank's cabin. And these next ones are part of a series, 2 different series, all by the same author. Oh, Christine, Tour the Stars. It's signed by the author and personalized. Nice. This one is A Stone in the Sea. Let me make sure I have this in the correct order. Oh no, this is a whole series. I bought the Bleeding Stars series. So there's 6 books in this series. So book number 1 is A Stone in the Sea. As the lead singer of Sunder, I come with a reputation, a bad one. I am no stranger to trouble. It follows me wherever I go. So I should have known Shea Bentley would be a problem. But the sexy southern girl is all I can see. Now we're both drowning in a sea of desire, sinking hopelessly into a world of lust. But she has an inescapable past, one that might destroy both of us. And I saw an ad for these books on Instagram, and then I went to the author's website and checked it out. And had to get it. Book number 2 is Drowning to Breathe. And I am going to read the synopsis of these, because I am not going to remember the synopsis of these books by the time I get to these. So, in case you've started to read this series and are further on, and like if you read the first one and are up for this one but don't know what it's about, hence you'll have the synopsis. The danger is pretending it is becoming real. Sebastian Stone, Sunder frontman and guitarist with a rap sheet about 10 miles long, escaped to Savannah, Georgia to get away from the trouble he'd caused, not to find more of it. The moment he saw Shea Bentley, he saw beneath all her sweet and innocence to something that went deeper, darker. Their relationship was built on secrets, their love built on lies. Sebastian never imagined how deep her secrets went. When the past and present collide, Sebastian and Shea find themselves fighting for a future neither believed they deserved. Their passion is consuming and their need unending. Now, holding the truth in his hands, Sebastian is faced with sacrificing everything he's come to love, to protect Shea and his family. 2 pasts intertwined, 2 lives bound. Will their demons drown them, or will Shea and Sebastian learn to breathe? Oh, and this one too. This one says, Christine, stars shine bright in the darkest night. Love that. And these are the Discreet covers series selection. I love the Discreet. I love the art of the Discreet series. And that tends to be, if I see that an author has a regular like cover series but then they have a Discreet, usually I'll be drawn to the Discreet series. Book number 3 is Where Lightning Strikes. I just love the art of the Discreet. She's a gorgeous nightmare and he's a wicked dream. Do you know what it feels like right before lightning strikes? How can you feel the current running through your veins? The trembles of warning that ripple through the air. It was a thrill Tamar King chased all her life until it became the very thing she had to escape. For the last 4 years, Tamar King has hidden herself in an isolated world she created. She was safe, no one could touch her, until Erik West walked through her door. He's the lead guitarist for Sunder, and everything she can never have. The dark and beautiful rock star becomes everything she craves. Erik's life has been devoted to his band, and that success has cost him. Bitter, hard, and filled with regret, he refuses to lose himself again. But from the moment he sees her, he wants one night with Tamar King. The gorgeous bartender is more than he bargained for. Their attraction is consuming, their desire overpowering. With one touch, they ignite. But is it worth the cost of getting burned? And this one says, Christine, find the beauty in the storm. Book number 4 is Wait. Eddie Evans is gorgeous. sexy, kind. She's also the definition of off limits, but that didn't stop me from sneaking into her room to comfort her at night. But guys like me, we destroy everything. So it should have been no surprise when I destroyed us too. The night I sent her running, I thought I'd never see her again until I saw her standing like a vision in the crowd. Austin Stone is dangerous, alluring, tempting. He broke my heart, and I refused to give him the chance to do it again. It's been years since I've seen him, and now I can't do anything but stare at the gorgeous tattooed man playing on stage. I should run. I know I should. But like a fool, I run straight back to him. Our desire is overpowering. Our need unrelenting. She is my hope. He is my weakness. We should have known a passion this intense would burn us right into the ground. Christine, to the one worth waiting for. Oh man, I'm loving these covers. Stay is book number 5. I'm Ash Evans, the life of the party, hot, rich, charismatic, a tattooed rock star with the world at my feet. I burn through women faster than the strike of a match. I've embraced my lifestyle and live it to the fullest, until the day my lifestyle caught up to me. Willow Langston found me at my lowest, literally, face down in a puddle of my own blood. I owe her my life, and I have 3 months to repay that debt. What I never should have done was touch her, kiss her, take her to my bed. Love wasn't supposed to be a part of the equation. I gave up that nasty complication a long damn time ago. Now I want her more than my next breath, but she doesn't know what I know. Do I leave to protect her, or can I face my demons and ask her to stay? Christine, chase your dreams. I'm loving that these are all personalized. And the last one in this series is Stand. I'm Z. Kennedy. Quiet, reserved, predictable. When my brother died, everyone thought I was just the good guy who stepped up to take his place in the band. No one knew what I was hiding. The one thing I've been fighting for. For 6 years, I never lost focus. Not until one chance encounter with Alexis Kensington. Now she's become my greatest temptation. I knew better than to touch her. But now that I have had a taste, I can't get enough. Her kiss becomes my error. Her body, my salvation. She needed a savior, and somehow she became mine. Taking her was a betrayal, but keeping her means risking everything. One look at Alexis Kensington, and I know she's worth the fight. Will my past continue to keep me down, or will I finally find the strength to pull myself up and stand? Christine, to finding what we stand for. Oh, and I don't know if I showed you that, but yeah. Yeah, I will be buying more of these. I love the discreet covers. I'll be going to the author's website at some point and buying more. She also has a series called Redemption Hills, the Falling Stars series, Confessions of the Heart, Fight for Me, the Regret series, the Closer to You series, and then she has some standalone novels. And has 2 books that are Hollywood Chronicles, a collaboration with USA Today bestselling author Rebecca Shea. So, and I believe these probably get smutty. I'm not 100% positive on that. I'll know when I read it, but I think I read that. So, yeah, so these are all one series. Love the cover. Out of all of these, this one's my favorite because it's my favorite color. So, anyway, so that is it for my April book haul. Let me know, have you read any of these books from any of these authors? Do the synopsis of any of these books intrigue you enough to look into it, to see if you want to get your own copy, audiobook, physical, ebook, whatever, borrow it from the library? Let me know. Are there any books that you absolutely loved that you've read recently and would like to recommend? Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I will talk to you later.